So now that our project has been designed and constructed and people have moved in, our sustainability implementation doesn't actually stop there. There is a little bit more that we need to do in what we call post-occupancy. Um, so this is also making sure that everything that we've designed and we've constructed is working properly. And that includes like, monitoring the move-in process. It has to do with looking at educating people who will be maintaining the building and the project. It also includes things like post-occupancy surveys, which we'll talk about a little bit more here shortly. So the commissioning phase, remember we talked about this during when we looked at energy performance in an earlier module. Well, the commissioning phase actually happens at this time as well, or will continue to happen. So you'll have your commissioning agents are testing things, during construction, but then they also come back anywhere from 6 months to a year after people have been occupying the building and the building's been operated to test to make sure that things are still operating the way that they're supposed to. Is the is the HVAC system still performing, to the right energy standards? They may look at energy bills and things like that. So commissioning will continue to happen post-occupancy. Operation and maintenance manuals, oftentimes there's O&M processes that happen at this time. So sometimes that involves training. There may be special ways that you have to clean a waterless, urinal, for example. There may be different ways to maintain, some sustainability HVAC system that you installed. So, a lot of times there has to be a lot of training and gathering of a lot of these operations and maintenance manuals so that the people who run the building know how to maintain these sustainability features the best. The last thing you want is to have put all this effort into, analyzing, designing, and constructing something to be sustainable, and then for it to fall short when it comes time to maintain it. Because people weren't maintaining it properly. So we have to ensure it even beyond just construction, design and construction. And then also with maintenance and ongoing maintenance of a building, we have to look at, strategies for maintaining interiors. There is a strategy out there called RCM, and this is to prevent, breakdowns and prevent your sustainability features from not performing the right way. So RCM stands for Reliability Centered Maintenance. Your book goes into this in a little more detail, so I would advise you to take a look at the chapter and read up on RCM a little bit more. But really, it gives a very comprehensive approach to different types of maintenance. And so RCM includes things like reactive based things. So a light bulb goes out. What do I do? Okay, well, this RCM tells me that I need to replace it with this type of bulb, so I'm going to go out and buy it, and done. It's reactive. There could be time-based things. So, for example, knowing that every 5 years we need to, wax these cork floors. So having that kind of on a scheduler there. Then there's condition-based maintenance. So that may be something like, if you start noticing signs of mold in a certain area, these are the types of things you would do to mitigate that. So that may be based on a certain condition. If it arises, then you start to do all these other things. Then there's also a whole section of RCM that may be proactive tasks, things that you want done before it becomes a problem. So, for example, there are things called integrative pest management, where you might have to, introduce, certain things to maintain, to being proactive so that you never get cockroaches, or you never get some horrible problem by if you do X, Y, and Z. So again, there are 4 different types of things that fall under this reliability centered maintenance. And then, also we have, if you're going through the lead process, this is also the time post occupancy. People need to be in the space where you can finally give all of your documentation to be reviewed by the GBCI to get your lead certification. Now you can, be developing all that stuff during construction and during design, but you really want to pull it all together once the project is done, post occupancy, and then hand it over to them to judge to say, yes, you've achieved, this lead status or not. And then finally, we want to check it back in with the end users. We want to make sure that the building is functioning properly, that people are comfortable. And so we do what's called a post-occupancy evaluation. And these are just some of the things that we might, develop questionnaires over. It could be around the overall building. What's the acoustic quality like? Are they able to work well given the noise and the sounds? What's the air quality like? Is maintenance and cleanliness, is that working in this building right now? You might want to ask specific questions about lighting. Things like, do you have enough adequate light to do the tasks that you need? Things like that. You might want to ask questions about the office furnishings. Maybe it has to do with ergonomics and how comfortable people are in the furniture. You might want to ask people about the layout. What's working, what's not. There may need to be some adjustments made. And then finally, even thermal comfort. Is the building too hot, too cold? So kind of understanding. And you're never going to really be able to please everybody. But let's say, for example, everybody in a specific wing was too hot. You might want to, that may alert you to the fact that, oh, maybe I want to bring the commissioning agent back to test that wing to see if it's okay. Because, the end users are saying that there's a problem. Ideally, we want to build better buildings and better environments and healthier environments for people. And so really these post-occupancy engagement surveys not only helps to make sure that what we've designed is being received and functioning, and people are happy about it. It also is a way of really letting your users know that you care, and getting them excited about what it is that they have come into. It can also be an education tool for starting a conversation about, hey, by the way, this building that you're working in now, has advanced indoor air quality measures. It uses this kind of filter. How's the indoor air quality been in your section of the office? So these types of things are very, very important to do, to follow through completely on going beyond just design and then walking away. So this is the last slide in the last segment, and I'd like to just say it's been such a pleasure working with you guys and going on this journey of sustainable design. It is my hope that this class has inspired you enough to want to implement this throughout your career, whether or not you decide to focus in on sustainability or not. Just as a parting word, I will say that, having sustainability under your belt when it comes to going into the interior design professional world will give you a leg up. It will, I find for me, it's brought a lot of meaning and purpose to, my contribution in the world. So I really just hope that you gain the same amount of insight and inspiration. Thank you so much for being great students. I wish you all the best. Goodbye.